John, how is it to be back? It's obviously quite a long break this one, isn't it, between the November and March? How's it been?
Aye, good. It's always strange, March. Obviously it's one camp, couple of games. Normally it's friendlies, but this time we've got playoffs, a lot more serious. But after a long time, brilliant to see the boys. Obviously some new faces, some faces you haven't seen for a while. So wasn't many training today, but we had a good session and great to be back.
Making you feel old with a number of 18-year-olds in the squad now?
Well, we actually had some, I think it was under 17 players training with us today, and that made me feel old. But no, it's amazing. I remember that feeling when the first time I trained with the first team. I remember feeling the change in tempo. It's obviously a little bit different for me now, but I saw some great glimpses this morning of what they can do, and it's really excited to have them around. And then obviously two more permanent ones in Lennon and James, who I'm sure will be keen to stay around.
What's your role like then to try and help them integrate? Did they get a tough time in the hotel last night? Did they have to sing a song, or what's it like?
Not yet, no, because everyone wasn't here. But I'll go a wee bit easier on Lennon than I will James, with him being a jambo. No, I'm joking. I'd just try and make them feel welcome. They're bound to be nervous, but both are doing really well in the league. They deserve an opportunity, and it's our job to make them feel welcome, comfortable, but not too comfortable at the same time.
Have you been hearing about Lennon from Paul for quite some time? I'd imagine that I take it you're looking forward to the chance to become a teammate of his as well.
Aye, well, I knew it was coming at some point. Obviously watch Motherwell pretty regularly, as much as I can, and Paul always spoke about him highly from a young age. But not only that, his mentality, he's a good teammate, very mature. So obviously been really keen to play alongside him and see him this week in training. So Paul doesn't speak anything but highly of him, and even sat at lunch there, he's a quiet guy, but desperate to succeed and work hard.
Just on that mentality, there was a lot made of his comments, wasn't there, in the press building up to this, about believing he can be the best player in the squad. Surely that's a good attitude to have as a young player, but you need to have it internally, don't you?
I was probably thinking, why did I say that? But I said plenty of stupid things when I was coming through at St Mirren. But also at the same time, they're not here to make the numbers up, they're here to take our places if eventually they're better than the ones that are here. We no longer get called up, so they need to have that confidence. They need to come here and not just make the numbers up, come here and try and get a starting position and then become a mainstay for years to come. So he definitely has the ability to do so, and so does James. Sorry.
You spoke about your early memories of coming into the senior team. Can you remember who played a big role for you in terms of making you feel welcome at the start, and what's it like now being that person?
I remember a lot of people, especially Nazy, Russell Martin, were two massive ones. Darren Fletcher, I mean them all really in different ways. Huts and Griggs were a wee bit more scary, which I've reminded them both of many times. But no, I was always pretty nervous, starstruck. But once I got a couple of sessions under my belt, I was chatting their ear off. So I know how it feels, but the boys, there's no egos in there. They know how to welcome new teammates, and if they get too confident, too comfortable, it's our job as older players to go, right, no, come on, too far. So done that with Ben a couple of times, but that's his character. No, but it's nice. It's obviously really good to see those boys having a big impact in the Scottish Premier League this year, and it's good to see.
So I know he's such an experienced player, but what's your role going to be with the captain when he comes in, obviously off the back of a disappointing day for him? What do you have to do when he comes in? I know he'll handle it his own way, but what do you do?
I'm sure John will probably be trying to wind him up, but we were gutted for him. Obviously we had no Scottish players in the Newcastle team. We wanted Liverpool to win for Robbo. He's been in many finals where he's succeeded. His levels consistently have been phenomenal for so many years. He's obviously got a league title he can maybe go and try and get over the line, which he doesn't like talking about, but he's experienced enough and focused enough on Scotland to put that to one side. I'm sure he'll be disappointed, but hopefully he can use that anger on Thursday night for us.
Just go back to the first time you were in the Scotland squad, was there any advice that you got from anyone that stuck with you at that point, or is there any advice that you wish you'd got at that point that you maybe didn't get?
I remember Charlie Adam done an interview on my first day from Stokes training ground, asking why there was Scottish Championship players getting called up, which wasn't too helpful at the time. So it was my first lunch at Mar Hall, I remember it, and all the experienced boys were getting right on me saying, look, you shouldn't be in the squad. So my session 30 minutes later wasn't great, but it was nerve-wracking. Sean Maloney made me feel a bit that small when he was turning me inside it, and I remember going back to my room. I was rooming with Barry Mackay at the time, and you have a wee think to yourself saying, I can't compete at this level, they were too good. But as the sessions go on, as you get more experience, you get more comfortable and you start to express yourself a bit more. So I'll always be grateful to Gordon Strachan for giving me that opportunity, and he flung me right in for my debut that week. So my transition was a little bit easier, and like I said, I'll always be grateful to Gordon Strachan for that opportunity, when many people thought there shouldn't have been a Scottish Championship player in the squad. So I'm sure the boys will be feeling the same about the gaffer, and keen to repay that faith.
Is it different now? You spoke about how it was a bit tricky when you came into it. Is it a more welcoming environment now?
No, I wouldn't say so. It was welcoming at the time. There was obviously massive characters and players, but there is here now, in different ways. But I think we're having some younger guys around. Tommy Conway, I keep calling him Jeff. Big George Hurst. No, but there is a kind of younger group as well, so they feel a lot more comfortable. It's not as if there's just kind of one or two. There's a slightly younger group. For example, George knows Slicker from Ipswich, so he's instantly comfortable. Lennon and James know each other, and Lennon played with Tommy at the 21, so it's not as daunting. I'm sure it'll be a little bit strange, but I'd like to think we're as welcoming as the squad were a few years ago when I first came.
Can I ask you briefly about your club exploits this season? Obviously going really well in the Champions League. Can you bring a bit of that positivity in with you to the camp?
Hopefully a few of the boys have mentioned it. Obviously a bit surreal to be at that stage of the competition, but hopefully there's many of us, especially in the squad at the minute, can go and achieve something towards the end of the season, and you've always kind of got a spring in your step, a lot to look forward to. But when we're here, our full focus is on trying to get us to remain in Division A of the Nations League, and anything that's coming after that can wait a wee bit.
John, have you faced George at club level?
I think he was on the bench for the Ipswich game at Villa Park. That's a great question, Rahman. You've tested me there. I have. Did he come on? Did he come on? That wasn't one to remember for us. What I did notice, but was when the gaffer went to watch him against Forest, and I tried to put two and two together, and obviously saw it online that he could play, but he seems pretty keen. Trained well this morning. Obviously we've got a couple of injuries up front. Saw Linden through the week and realised that he was definitely not going to make it. So if we've got anyone that can contribute and help and give us everything, whether they qualify through Scotland, through birth, or through any other family, all we want is commitment and for your whole career, really.
Is he a sort of addition that should excite Scotland fans?
Aye, definitely. Obviously I've only managed to watch him from that game onwards. I'm a little bit biased towards my countryman, but he played well that night. Ipswich are a good side. They always play well, and he certainly offers us something different up front. He's some size. He'll look after himself well in the games, and he seems keen to learn and improve. So we're glad to have him, and he's certainly settled in so far.
Must give the squad a big lift having Kieran back as well.
Aye, it is. We'll wind him up about playing left wing last week in the Champions League. No, brilliant to have him back. He's obviously a fit and firing. Kieran Tierney is one of the best players, not only in Scotland but in Britain. So we're great to have him back. He's a big character about the boys, and thankfully I can stop playing my music and leave KT to it.
Yeah, I mean, it must have been devastating for him at the Euros, for the tournament to end so soon for him.
Aye, definitely, and he never seems to get a bit of luck. It's always something pretty serious when he gets injured, and his injury was a sort of freak hamstring injury when he was keeping up with one of the fastest players in the tournament, so it was a massive loss for us at the time, but for him to be out for so long was probably difficult for him to deal with. But now he's back, he's getting a bit more minutes for Arsenal, and then we'll see what he does in the summer.
John, when you think back to that comment by Charlie about being a Scottish Championship player, did that motivate you at all at the time? And when you look back now, you're seasoned Scotland international and Champions League players. How much pride do you take from that?
A lot of pride. I don't think he was meaning it at me kind of individually or personally at the time. Just the timing of it was a bit of a disaster. I remember going for lunch a wee bit nervous already. But you've always got people to try and prove wrong. And you've got to show people that have a bit of faith in you that you deserve to be there, the decision's justified, and I think over time I managed to show that. So I think in Scotland we're very quick as soon as the Scotland squad came out, and that's something that's not changed over 15-16 years. Why is he in it? He should be in it. It does get a little bit draining, rather than just support the boys that are selected and all kind of be together on that. So, but certainly at that time there was a lot of pressure on me, and I felt it a little bit, but the boys who are in there, I remember that first game next to Brunei, little nuggets of wisdom during the game, support before the game, and you sort of start to feel at home. So it was a massive jump in my career at the time, but it shows anyone now in the Scottish Championship, and I hope that if that arises again, which is a possibility, I hope that there's not the same pressure put on them.
John, Ben's absence through injury is obviously a blow given the impact he's made in such a relatively quick time. Is that kind of further highlight for guys further up in the pitch to find another way in his absence? We've
obviously not got the same speed. We were very fortunate to have Ben in the last couple of games show his sort of best performances for Scotland. 2 starts, 2 brilliant performances, and something certainly different. We have pace, but maybe not the same blistering pace that Ben has, so we'll have to adapt a little bit. But he's young, he's going to have bumps on the road, and this is hopefully just a little bump in the road for him. Whether he's back for the summer, I'm not sure, but he's certainly a big miss, and he'll be a big player for us in the next sort of 10-15 years.
John, I know you don't shy away from trying to figure out the permutations of things. How important would it be to win this playoff and stay in the top tier, in terms of just for you players to be at that top tier and compete in the races?
The older you get, you try and just take it each challenge by each one. So going to Greece, I've been there at club level. Unfortunately, that stadium, we lost the Conference League semi-final last season. It's a brilliant atmosphere, very, very tough place to go, and we know how good the Division A nights have been at Hampden, full houses, the knock-on effect to everything. We're aware of it. We know how much we want to be competing at that level, and what we've shown maybe towards the latter stages is that we can compete, and we do deserve to be there. So we've got an additional opportunity to stay there, and we want to stay there as long as possible. So Thursday's going to be a very tough game, but I'm sure Greece will not be looking forward to come back to Hampden on Sunday.
Any embargoed questions, guys?
John, not spoken.